Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials on any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com.
We completed the basics of PCF. We started with discussion on containers and VMs. We discussed about Docker as a tool for automating container creation. We discussed on how Kubernetes can orchestrate Docker containers, and then finally we moved slowly to Cloud Foundry. In Cloud Foundry, we understood the Cloud Foundry architecture, various components of Cloud Foundry. And whenever you push your application to Cloud Foundry, what happens? What are the sequence of steps that will happen when you push to Cloud Foundry? And I told you some basics of installation. We discussed about BOSH, a tool by using which Cloud Foundry is actually deployed. And we understood the difference between open source Cloud Foundry and Pivotal Cloud Foundry in installation. So we understood that if we are using a Pivotal Cloud Foundry, and if I'm your administrator, I first install Terraform on my machine, and I'll download Terraform templates given by Pivotal and apply the Terraform templates. Once I apply, I'll get an application called as Ops Manager, in which there will be BOSH, CLI, and a web application. And through that Ops Manager, we install a VM called as BOSH, which contains BOSH director. And through that, we install the rest of the VMs of Cloud Foundry. We understood clearly in last session. And I was discussing on how once you install Cloud Foundry, from there I'll start for today. All right. So once installation of Cloud Foundry is done, we don't want Cloud Foundry to be installed for each and every project in your organization. So we were discussing suppose in your organization there are a lot of products or a lot of applications which needs to be deployed on Cloud Foundry from different projects. So what happens is, whenever you install Cloud Foundry, there will be only one user called as admin user for the installation. There will be only one user. This user, what he will do is he'll create organizations. So in your Cloud Foundry, there will be a lot of orgs. So there can be, let's say, org A, org B, org C, like that. There can be multiple orgs. One organization can be allocated some quota in terms of memory. Let's say 3 GB memory. So into this organization, we can push applications which can take up to maximum 3G, whatever allocated memory. Like that, what we do is, for our Cloud Foundry installation, we have a capacity. Let's say for my Cloud Foundry installation, I have cell VMs which can accommodate up to, let's say, 64 GB. And let's say for each organization, I am allocating 2 GB. So how many organizations can be created? 32 organizations can be created. So if you want more, we can increase the capacity of our cells in the installation, right? So in the PCF installation, there we can create orgs. Who can create organizations? The admin user. Under one org, again, we can create something called as spaces, like dev space for developer, production space, UAT space, like that. Maybe for different environments, you can have multiple spaces under organization. And again, for these spaces, we can allocate a separate quota, which belongs to the organization. And what we do is normally whenever user is logging in, a user will log into one of the spaces in one of the organization, and we can push applications onto that spaces. Okay. So this admin user, what he can do is he can create users. Okay. And he can make a user as an organization manager, org manager. There is a role in Cloud Foundry called as org manager. So once a user is created and made as an organization manager, he will be able to do all the admin related stuff for that particular organization, right? So what this org manager can do is he can create other user, and this org manager can create spaces. Let's say he wants to create a dev space and production space, whatever spaces. So this organization manager will be able to create spaces because he's at the organization level, right? So once spaces are created, he can create users and can make this user as a space manager. Space manager. Space manager will be able to manage the allocated space. And also there's one more role called as space developer. So a user can be created and user can be allocated with any of the roles, space manager or space developer. So what is difference between space manager and a space developer? A space manager will be able to invite other users to his space, but a space developer cannot do the invitations, right? So that is the difference. You can only develop push apps, delete apps, etc. So you understood about organizations, spaces, users, right? Now let me tell you what all I have to do if I have to log into Cloud Foundry. Now I have already installed Cloud Foundry for you. Okay. So what all I have to do? Now what I have done is after installing Cloud Foundry, I have created 25 users. Okay. So I hope you will be 25 of you. So I have created users starting from user 1, user 2, like that. I have created 25 users and I gave a simple password for each user. Password is password only. So like that, I have created 25 usernames and passwords. Now, how to actually log in to Cloud Foundry? Very simple. Actually, I have done my installation. I told you in our Cloud Foundry installation. 1 minute, I'll show you. apply anyway. I will draw a new diagram so that you'll again get small revision and all. So this, if you treat that this is my Pivotal Cloud Foundry, tell me. I'll ask you questions. You have to tell me. The VMs in Cloud Foundry, where our application containers run, we call it as what? Tell me.
Cells.
Exactly. So cells. Thank you. Cells are the VMs where our application containers run. Okay. There can be a number of cells. Minimum 3 cells will be required for achieving high availability. Yeah. Again, another question. Inside every cell, there will be a tool for creating containers. Is it Docker, which we use for creating containers in Cloud Foundry, or another tool?
It's Garden.
Garden. Yeah, very good. So if you remember, I'll test your memory. If you remember, I told you Garden is an interface, and for Linux machines, there's one implementation of Garden, and for Windows, there's another implementation. Can anyone tell what is the implementation of Garden for Linux machines?
Guardian.
Oh, exactly, Guardian. Nice. And for Windows, if you remember?
Greenhouse.
Yeah, thank you, Muthu. Okay, fine. Now, on every cell, there also will be a representative, as I told. Tell me, in Cloud Foundry, there is one component which exposes a REST API, and for a client will talk to Cloud Foundry by making a call to this REST API. What is this component in Cloud Foundry?
Cloud Controller. CC.
Exactly, Cloud Controller. So whenever a client is making a push call, the call will be like this. The command will be like this: cf push, app name, let's say my app, and -p, the path to my application, let's say c:\a.var, -i, number of instances 5, -m, 1g memory. So if this is a push command, the request will go to CC, and CC, Cloud Controller, will store all the metadata in CCDB, and it will upload the application bits inside blob store. It's all we discuss quickly. Then CC will delegate to CC bridge. CC bridge will delegate to BBS. Can anyone tell me what is this BBS stands for? BBS stands for Bulletin Board System. It acts like a scheduler. So whenever BBS has to schedule, it will delegate to auctioneer. Auctioneer will talk to the representatives to actually participate in an auction, and will select one of the representatives and ask it to create a container. So representative will actually use one more component called as executor, and executor will use Garden API to launch a container. That's what we saw. So whenever we push, first image has to be created, application image has to be created. Tell me, in Cloud Foundry, application images are called as?
Droplets.
Exactly, droplets. And droplets, will they be created on my machine?
Hey viewers, our Mastery in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Somewhere else.
No, it will be created inside a cell when the auctioneer reaches to the executor.
Yes, auctioneer will conduct an auction and will create a container finally. In one of the container, the image will be created. Yeah, I'll test your memory now. Inside, during the image creation, there are some scripts which will be executed for creating a droplet. What are those scripts? Yep, I gave a hint. After executing the scripts, the image will be created. There will be different scripts for different types of applications like Java application, .NET, Python. Build packs. Build packs are the scripts that will be executed in this container. So suppose if I have pushed a Java application, it will detect, okay, this is a Java application. So Java build pack scripts have to be executed. Once the scripts are executed, the application image will be created, droplet, and droplet will be uploaded to Blob Store. This process is called as staging. Creating application image is called as staging, I told you, right? And then our application containers will be started. Okay, fine. Now I told you that on my machine I need to install CFCLI to do all this, right? How to install CFCLI? First of all, before I push my application, I need to log in to Cloud Foundry. So actually in Cloud Foundry, there is one more component called as UAA, User Accounts and Authentication, which is nothing but an OAuth server. So it will take care of authentication. So before you push applications to Cloud Foundry, you need to log in to Cloud Foundry through this UAA. It is an OAuth server, right? So on your machine, you need to install Cloud Foundry CLI. Okay. Now I'll do a small thing. I have a Google Cloud account and I have installed everything on my Google Cloud account. So how to go to Google Cloud account? It is nothing but console.cloud.google.com. I'll just paste it in the chat window. So later I'll ask you to go through it, but just keep on seeing it. Console.cloud.google.com will take me to my Google Cloud account. If you don't have an account, you can actually will be actually creating it. I have an account and I logged into Google Cloud. Okay. So this is the UI of Google Cloud. Okay, console.cloud.google.com. So once I go there, I need to tell you in Google Cloud, whatever VMs you create or whatever activities you do, you will be doing on a project. Here you can see the project. By default, there will be one default project, and if you want to create a new project, you can create a new project. Okay, so if you are logging into Google Cloud Console for the first time, there will be no project. There will be one default project actually, and you will be in that project, or you can create a new project also. So whatever you are going to do, you will be doing inside one Google project. So I am actually logged into my account and I'm inside a project called as PCF Siva. and in that only I have installed all my CloudFront. Now, whatever commands I want, I don't want you to do it from your laptop or your machine, because maybe your laptop is a company laptop and you might be having some restrictions. Okay, so what I want you to do is, here I want you to work on all the exercises inside VM created in Google Cloud Platform itself, right? So what we can do is, in the Google Cloud, once you're logged in here, there will be an icon called as Activate Cloud Shell. This will actually create a cloud shell, a shell on the cloud. So for the first time, it will provision one machine which contains a shell and where you can execute some basic commands. It will give you a command prompt. Okay, so it will take some time for provisioning the Google Cloud. So I'll tell you how you will be working on the exercises. Okay, you can of course do the exercises from your laptop if there are no restrictions. I'll tell you how to do it. Just keep on watching it. And what I can do is here there's an icon, open in new window. If I click on this, it will open a new window so that I'll have a separate window for Google Cloud. So I clicked on open new window. It is opening. It will take just some more time. Is it connecting? No. I press once. Sometimes based on maybe some browser problems, it will not work on. Close it once and I'll close this once. Again, I will activate Cloud Shell. Okay, let it open. It will take some time. I'll tell you what we have to do. I told you in our Cloud Foundry, there will be a router. There will be a router. And router is mapped to two domains. What? Star dot something called a system domain and star dot apps domain. There will be two domains, apps domain. So actually for my installation, my domain which I used, actually I have purchased something and I used it. Don't worry about what I'm using. So my domain which I purchased is algorobo.in. This is my domain which I purchased. And while installation of Cloud Foundry, I gave my environment name is Siva env. Siva env. And sys dot this URL, this domain name will be my system domain. Right, this whole thing sys.sivaenv.algorobo.in will be my system domain, and apps.sivaenv.algorobo.in algo robo.in. This is going to be my apps domain, right? Okay. Now, what will be the URL of my cloud controller? Actually, I told you it will be api.sys.system domain. Okay. Now, what will be my application URL? Suppose if I push an application with name my app, by default, the URL for accessing the app will be my app dot, this is the apps domain, right? Apps domain. So that will be the URL. Okay. Now I want to first of all log into Cloud Foundry so that I can make calls to this API. So how to log in, right? So what I'll do is firstly, actually there will be one more application called as apps dot system URL. Apps.system URL. At this URL, there will be one application running called as Apps Manager. So I'll click on it. Sorry, I think it is already logged in, so log out. So once I click on this for the first time, just wait. Yeah, I will be redirected to the URL of UAA, and this is a login page which I am seeing. This is the login page of UAA server. So I tried to access what? Apps Manager at apps.sys. Now I have created some users already. I will use a user 25. I've created 25 users. I'm logging in as user 25, and the password is password. Okay. I created this user and signing in. Yeah. So it's asking where do you want to go? I want to go to Apps Manager. Okay, this is going to be the Apps Manager UI once I log in for the first time. Yes. See, what I have done is for this user 25, I have already created a user called organization called as user 25 org and made this user 25 as this organization administrator. So you can see user 25 org, and this user 25 org is allocated how much memory? The quota allocated is 2 GB, right? And then if I click on this organization, I have already created a space called as dev space, right? And since it belongs to this organization, it has a maximum capacity of this org quota. So 0 bytes is used out of 2 GB, right? Now I can create a new space also, because the logged in user is having a role of organization manager, right? He can create spaces also. I'll create space. I'll create a space called as production, PROD, create. So like that, see, now prod is available under org user 25 org. Like that we can create.
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Spaces. If I have a role called as organization administrator. Now I want to go to dev and see in this, are there any apps right now? No apps. I want to push one app to this one, right? So on my laptop, I need to install Cloud CFCLI. First, one way is you click on tools link here. If you click on it, here there will be download links for all the operating systems. So based on your operating system, you can select and download the CLI and execute it. Suppose if I am on a Windows 64-bit machine, I can download this. Okay. Then I'll just directly install it. There will be an installer. I'll directly install it. Just clicking on it and taking all defaults will do the installation. Okay, you can take all the defaults and do the installation. I'm just exiting it. Very simple to install CF CLI. Once you execute that and install CF CLI, you will be able to execute CF commands. Then to log in to my Cloud Foundry, as I told you, this is a api.sys.cynv.algorobo.in. This is the URL of my cloud controller. I want to log in and I want to access this. This is the main API actually. So CF login -a. This is the URL to log in, right? So let us see. I will log in, but I don't want to actually do it from my local machine. I want to do everything from Google Cloud only. I want to provision a machine and I want to do everything there. Oh, this Cloud Shell is not happening, right? Let me close it. Okay. So just a minute. Yeah. So I'll do a small thing. I'm opening Chrome here, and I'll activate Cloud Shell here on Chrome. Sometimes because of some browser problems, it will take us a little bit more time. Yes, it connected, right? So I am inside a project, separate project here. What is my project ID? Alien Span something, right? This is my project ID and I'm connected to that project here. You see, I logged in from my other account. Now I want you to follow this instructions when you are doing the exercise. Now this is my other Google account. Actually, this is not my original Google account. I logged into another Google account now, right? So again, I will go to console.cloud.google.com. Or just a minute. Not required. Actually, I want to create one compute instance. Okay. So this is a command which I can fire to create a Ubuntu VM. G-Cloud is a utility which will be already available once you open the Cloud Shell. Compute instances create. This is used to create a compute instance. The name I'm giving it as jump box. I'll give it as Siva jump box. And this is the image VM image and image project. And for my VM, I want 200 GB of disk, and I want it to be created on this zone. So I'll just execute this command. I'll give this command to you, don't worry. Where is my Cloud Shell? Yes, here. I will just paste it. Enter. So it's asking me to authorize. I'll click on authorize. Let me maximize this. Yeah, I'm maximizing the font also. See, it created a VM with the name Siva Jump Box. Let us see. I'll go to the next tab. I'll go to here, this left menu. And if I go to compute engine here, I'll be able to see VM instances. Yeah. See, right now I created Siva Jump Box. Jump Box was already there, don't worry. Siva Jump Box is what I created, and I created in US East 1B. And this is the public IP of that jump box. Now I'll be able to SSH into this one. How to SSH? Very simple. I'll clear the console. Gcloud compute SSH, and the user by default is Ubuntu at Siva Jump Box. And it is in which zone dash zone is equals to US dash east, I think it is east 1 dash B. East 1 dash B. So this will do an SSH. This command will do an SSH into that particular Siva Jump Box. Oh wait. Oh, east 1 dash B. Yeah. So it will automatically SSH into the jump box. See now, I SSH'd. Now it's always a good idea to do all the things on a jump box. Any point of time, you will be able to just SSH into this jump box, and this jump box is on cloud, so you don't have any restrictions, right? So I am into this jump box right now. Let me show you how to log in. Okay, to log in, what is the URL? If I click on tools, see, this is a command, cf login. I'll paste this, cf login -a to which Cloud Foundry? The Cloud Foundry installed at this URL. Now if I try to enter, cf command not found. Very good. How to install cf CLI on this jump box? Okay, so actually I have given all the instructions. You'll be following these instructions. Here is the installation instruction. So I'll copy this command to download a curl command. Okay, I'll copy this command, and maybe while copying from a Word document, sometimes there might be some space issues and all. You just have to take care. I'll copy this command, curl command, and I'll paste it. Yes, it has curled and download, and it has untarred it. So after untarring it, there are two things, CF and CF7, ls-l. If you see, CF7 is actual file, and CF is the symlink for CF7. So if I want to execute CF from anywhere, I have to move it to user local bin, sudo mv cf to /user/local/bin. So it is moved, and then similarly I will move CF7 also. Yes, now if I want to test CF version, yep, see, I got the Cloud Foundry version as 7.x. So this is simple. I have given instructions in this document how to install. We'll be able to install it by following the documentation, don't worry. So now I am in CFCL. I have installed CFCL and now I have to log in. So I will go to this one and I'll copy this URL command. So CF login -a. Now let us see whether it will log in or not. Oh, it is giving an error. SSL certificate error. Certificate is valid, not for this. It's saying use skip SSL validation. Actually, mine is a self-signed certificate, right? For self-signed certificates, I have used self-signed certificates in your organization. If you have used some other signed certificates, it could have not been a problem. So whenever you are using self-signed certificates, you can use an option called as skip SSL validation. That's all. It's asking for email. I'll give user 25. That's username, and password as password. Now it has authenticated. Actually, there's only one org to which this user is belonging, user 25 org. But in that org, there are two spaces, dev and prod. To which you want to log in right now? I want to log into dev space. I'll say one. So that's it. Right now I'm logged in and I'm targeted to user 25 org and to dev space. Now whatever applications I push right now will be in that. So if you want to see to what organization and to what space you are logged in, you can always fire a command cf target. It will show you what is your current target. Remember, one user can belong to multiple organizations, and under each organization he can belong to multiple spaces. At any point of time, when user is logged in, he will be targeted to one space and one org. Suppose now I am logged into user 25 org and dev space. I want to switch to production space. How to switch? CF target -s. You want to switch to space prod. That's it. Very simple. Right now I'm targeted to prod space in this.
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Organization, right? And if you want to switch to a new organization itself, suppose if you belong to two organizations, then you can use CF target -o instead of -s. -o, you'll be able to switch to an organization also. Like that, you can log in. Now, I have one small application, a simple application. I want to push that to CloudFront, right? So here are my instructions. Actually, there's a war file in my website. I have kept this my website. This is a URL where I have actually kept all the lab related documentations, everything. So I'll click on, I'll go here. Oh, sorry. So I'll just go to this URL. Here is my lab documentations, everything kept. You'll be working on these documents. And here are some applications also. There's a war file, a web application which is already created. I want to push this, right? So I'll copy the link. Now how to download here? It's very simple. wget and paste. It will download springmusic.war here. Quickly let it download. Okay, it is downloaded. Okay, this is my war file. I want to push. So CF push. I'll give my name as Siva Music, and -p, it is in the current folder dot slash this war file. I want 2 instances. -m, I want 1G memory to be allocated for each. That's all. See what all is happening. I'll explain you what is happening step by step. So first it is packaging the files to upload, and it has uploaded the file. Right now it is trying to stage the app. Staging is happening. These are the logs actually. First step after pushing is what? First application has to be staged. Staged means what? Creating application image is nothing but staging, I said. So who will actually create application image? I told you build packs, right? So what is happening here? You can see into the container, all the build packs are downloading, right? After all build packs are downloaded, there will be some logic. I'll tell you later while discussing in detail about build pack. There will be some logic to identify which build pack to be used. Actually, I push the var file, so it will identify later that Java build pack has to be used, right? And it will execute the scripts inside the Java build pack. You can see here Java build pack. It is downloaded and it's executing, right? So here are the logs. While preparing the droplet or the application image, it needs to download Tomcat, GRE, etc., etc. You can see the download logs. Once everything is done, see uploading the droplet to where? Droplet will be uploaded to Blob Store, as I told you, right? Uploading complete. Now here you can see uploading complete. That means droplet is uploaded to Blob Store. Staging is done. Then it will start. So here you can see the logs waiting, instance starting. Finally, you can see there are two. Zero index is 0, one is in starting state and one is in running state, right? So 2 applications started. Now if I say CF apps, it will show me what all apps are there. See here Siva Music started. How many instances? 2 out of 2 are started. And what will be the route to access? As I told you, this apps.sivaenv.algorobo.in, this is going to be my apps domain, and app name which I gave is Siva Music. So this is going to be the URL to access. Let me check. I'll hit my app. Don't worry how that app is developed. It's having a web UI. Are you able to see that or not? Yes. So I pushed an application to Cloud Foundry and I'm able to access it, right? Okay, so everything is clearly documented, right? So let's assume that all of you are using my Cloud Foundry, right? Whatever I have installed, right? So if all of you push your app using such command like this, if all of you push, then what will be the URL for all of you? Siva Music only. So for all of your app,
Siva.
same URL. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Siva, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Tell me.
Hey, Siva, quick question. So this one, we're trying to deploy or push the application that was already created. So people are not going to create on their own app and then try to push that. So those steps are you going to work them through or?
Actually, right now we are in day 3. We are just discussing about Cloud Foundry. So
Okay.
later we'll be going to microservices, right? Here we'll actually develop microservices, and then finally I'll show you how to push them to Cloud Foundry. Here development part is later.
Okay. So development how to create and then
yeah, how to create an app, it's all again application specific. I'm going to show you development of applications in Java especially microservices, and then later I'll push them to cloud. Assuming that app is already, don't worry how that app is built. It's a WAR file, that's all. It's there. How to push is now what I'm going to discuss. Later we have a detailed discussion on. Okay.
Okay.
Now I pushed my app, and this is a URL. Suppose if 25 of you are pushing the app, it's same name, the URL will be same, right? Conflicting, right? So you don't want this name to be same. You want a random route to be given, right? How to do it? Let me tell you. Firstly, let me say CF delete Spring Siva Music. Very simple. I'm just showing you how to delete CF delete Spring Siva Music. That's all. It will delete the app. I showed you how to push. Now how to delete. CF delete. It will delete. Then again I'm going to push. Don't worry. So now again I'm going to push same command, but right now I will use --random -route, so that random route will be allocated. So now you can see again same thing is happening. It is uploading the files and the staging is starting, downloading the build packs, then executing the Java build pack. It will just quickly start up in few seconds. Yep, Droplet is built. Droplet is uploaded as well. Then now it is trying to start. See how quickly it is happening. Yes, started. Now I'll clear the console. CF apps, if I see. Yep, now you can see what is the route here given. Something Siva Music Thankful Hippopotamus -1. This is a URL using me. This is a random route generated because I used random -route. Okay. So what will happen if you try to push an app without giving random route and that route is already used? You will get an error while pushing, because the route by default, actually this is the whole URL, right? See, this is the apps domain, and this we call it as a route. Okay, this name, whatever I highlighted, is the route. So route name, if it is by default, it will be same as the app name, whatever you pushed. Siva Music in this case, in earlier case. If you want random route, you can use just random route. So if that route is already is not available, you'll get an error while pushing. Okay. Okay. So random route. Now, while pushing, if you want to give memory, as I told you, you can use -m, whatever memory you want. Here I give 750M. And if you want to give 2 instances, -i, right? So if you want to see the orgs to which you belong to, you can use a command called as cforgs. Cforgs will show to what all organizations you belong to. This is the org name, right? And CF spaces, it will show you the spaces to which the logged in user belongs to, dev and prod. So like that, these are the basic commands, right? Now here I want to scale my instances. Right now, how many instances are there? If I say CF apps, it will show me the apps. The Siva Music is one, and there are how many instances? 2 instances. Now I want to scale up or scale down. Very simple. CF scale. The application name is what? Siva Music. hyphen I. Suppose if I want 3, I will say 3. Let us see what will happen. Oh, I am getting memory quota exceeded. Why? Because to my organization, where is it? Yeah, this is my organization. I'll go to home. See, for this organization, what is the quota allocated? I'll just refresh once. Yeah, what is the quota allocated actually? 2 GB. And I pushed an app with 2 instances, 1 GB. 2 out of 2 is over. 2 out of 2 is over. Right? If I go to dev, here, oh, I think I push it to prod. See, in prod space, if I go, here is Siva music running, and this is the route. 2 GB is over, so it's not. I want to scale down. I want only 1 instance, right? So what I can do? CF scale Siva music hyphen I1. I want to scale down. Let's see. Yep, it immediately scaled down. Now, if I go here and just refresh, do a refresh. See, only 1 instance is there. 1 container got destroyed. So you can either scale up or scale down by using CF scale hyphen I. Okay. So now you understood how to scale. Here are the instructions given. Now,
Shiva, one
Shiva,
question, Shiva.
I have a
please go ahead.
question. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
please.
Go ahead, Dharmavir. I will come back. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So, my question is, Shiva, so the quota that you have assigned is for organization, right? Like you have assigned 2 GB of quota for organization.
For the whole
So right
organization.
now, yeah. So for the whole organization, you assign 2 GB, right? So can we allocate the quota for each space? Like, can we limit the quota for each space?
Yes, yes. There are commands which your administrator can actually allocate quota to space level. By default, right now, I have not allocated quotas. So the entire 2 GB, whatever is allocated, the organization level will be shared with all the organizations. But there are commands using which you can allocate memory only quota to a space only. Suppose you have 10 GB, you may want to give 4 GB to dev and 6 GB to prod. Yes, that is possible.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Shiva.
Okay.
Shiva, this is Satish here. I'm having a question related to auto scaling.
Auto scaling, yeah, this is manual scaling, whatever I showed you. We have auto scaling coming next. Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
but manual scaling also we can relate to that, right? So let me bring up the question here so that rest of the team can think through that. So the
Please.
question is to you, based on the throughput to any application, like we are having an application, we will be having multiple instances to it, right? So for example, business critical application needs more availability from the user access level. So
Correct.
that accessibility, we are not going with some pre-fixed numbers like 5 instances will be running all the time. So we have to determine that user access coming into that particular app based on the number of throughputs. We have to increase it to the availability, meaning like it has to go up based on the throughput. When the throughput goes down, it automatically scale down. So
Correct.
how does it handled in CF command line? And I'm not asking specific to AppScaler. So how do we control this in your CF command line utility?
Okay. See, there are two things. There will be one service called as auto scaling service, which we will actually see next. So we have to create an instance of auto scaling service. That is a service provided by Cloud Foundry separately, not
So
here.
I am aware of that. What does that auto scaling do? But I am asking, is there a way to do it in command prompt using CLI command?
Yes, it is possible. Let me tell you. So even there also, whenever you are using a command, first point, the concept I'll tell you, then I'll come to the command. Okay, so there is a service called as autoscaler. which you can provision. So you have to create a service and bind, there's a procedure, or there's a plugin, CFCLI plugin, by using which you can automatically configure the scaling, auto scaling also. So when that topic comes, I'll show you the command to do the auto scaling also by using a CFCLI plugin. Okay, yes, that is possible, Satish. Okay, where you can configure the rules and all through CLI as well.
Yeah, thank you, Shiva. Thank you.
Yeah. So right now, okay, for understanding the services and all, I need to introduce you to services concept. I'll do it. Okay. So this is manual scaling. Now I have a question. See, right now the number of instances is 1. Suppose if I scale it to 2, do I see an application downtime?
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.